Hi, everybody. I am not a success. I am a work in progress. I'm a little bit on a detour on my journey to find myself. Since graduating in 2014, I've had a few jobs. I was a pharmacy technician, I was a rental car specialist, I was a saleswoman, I worked in a creperie, and finally, a barista. Thank you. So I was finding that I wasn't finding success in my many jobs. I was finding that I was lacking something that connected the dots for me from who I was to what I was doing. And this lack of connection was a lack of success to me. It caused me to take a step backward and to re-examine how I had gotten here in the first place and what was going wrong. Why was I not able to achieve the vision of myself that I had intended when I was younger? Some of my first memories are with my grandmother. My grandmother was a truly magical person, and for anybody who knew who she touched lives with small acts, be it a hug or a smile or a friendly touch. Sue Eliason was truly a special person. I remember she used to bake a lot. She was a mother of 6 Swedish children, and she had a spatula in one hand for most of their upbringing. And I was her sous chef, so we would be in the kitchen, and I would be her timer, waiting for the pies to be done, and we'd take them out together. And it brought such joy to everybody. Everybody entered and left that house smiling and happy to be there. And that was kind of my first exposure to what philanthropy was, what doing good was for somebody else, spreading sunshine to your part of the world. And I always wanted to emulate that because I valued her legacy and I valued my time with her. So when she left us, unfortunately, my mission was to continue what she had started. My mission was to make the world a better place, just like she would have, be it with pies or with giving back to the community. When I moved here to East Hampton at 9, I found my first cause, the Emily Willison Memorial Library. I was a member of the summer reading program, and I just remember thinking how important it was that children and adults knew the resources that the library had, and I loved it. I was not a very strong reader, so my time there was really beneficial for me academically. And my time there was also an exploration of what it meant to give. And I loved it. I loved being involved in something bigger than myself. And I remember going door to door in my new community, asking for every person for a dime. Because the cause was so important to me, I'd rather have 10 people give me a dime than one person give me $1. So everybody knew how cool the library was. I would continue this act of giving when I went to high school and outgrew the summer reading program. I would begin to be involved in the American Cancer Society events, and I loved that idea of giving to a charity or a cause that I felt was really beneficial. So as high school began to close and we aspired to seek higher education, these philanthropic acts that I was so passionate about became extracurriculars. They became things that would look really good on a resume or really good on the Common App. A little rolling of my eyes there. Really good on the Common App. And they became less important just by themselves. So when I went to school, I was already kind of distracted from my passion of philanthropic things because I was so focused on seeking an education and selecting a major that was right for me and building a career. This concept of a career totally baffled me. I thought, there has to be something better than this. We're not just here to sit in an office until we go somewhere else. And I was baffled that people actually did that and they didn't find something that made them so happy that it didn't feel like work. So I went to school, I went to university, and continued this cause. I was involved in a lot of things in college, sometimes to my mother's dismay, more things outside of the classroom than in the classroom. But I was involved in anything I felt had a purpose. Causes for the MS Society, for the Arthritis Foundation, anything that needed a person to raise money, anything that needed a body that helped, I was your girl. And I loved it. I loved my time there. But again, I was focusing on this concept of a career and of building a past that would make me a successful young person. And so this idea of giving back again became things that looked really good, but it was nothing that was the ability to move any way forward. So because of my interest in raising money and talking to people, it was decided that I'd be really good in sales, that I would kill it on the corporate scene and raise money for big companies. So ready to go, briefcase in hand, I entered the sales force. It did not go well. I found myself really struggling to sell things that I didn't think were meaningful. And I found myself struggling to connect with a job that I didn't feel fulfilled my best purpose. I remember in interviews, they would ask me, "What gets you up in the morning?" And I would think, not this, anything but this. So I went out into the world ready to change careers because I wanted to find that vision of success. And at that time, success to me was money. Success was the ability to pay my loans back. Success was a way to provide for myself as a young person. That was my vision. And I find now that that probably wasn't the best definition for me of what success is. So after going through a few careers, I decided to really take a step backward and think, what's not connecting? What's not happening? I felt lost, and I felt confused as to what I should be doing. There has to be something that's better than this. There has to be a better way. And I found I wasn't alone. 55% of millennials who are employed are not engaged in their current workforce, and 71% of millennials who are employed are actively seeking new employment within the next year. It was clear that no one really knew where they were and everyone wanted to go somewhere else. So, a note about the people around me. A lot of these philanthropies were done next to family and friends, and it struck me as such a community effort and really made an impact that so many people were helping the same cause. So to me that was really important, and the people around me motivated me to be the best person I could. So while I was taking a break from working, shall we say, I had to get a job to pay the bills. And I work at a local coffee shop in Rhode Island, and one of our tasks is to take the newspapers to the trash if they're not recycled or there's no space in the recycling bin. And instead of that, I kind of saw a better purpose for them. So I would bring them to my local shelter, and I would play with the dogs and kind of have a sit. And one day I brought the papers to the shelter, and on the front desk, there was a check sitting there, a donation from a random person. And it struck me that how impersonal was that check? How removed was that act of philanthropic nature? How removed was that person from the cause? And it struck me how removed they were. What a lack of community I saw, and what an opportunity to get involved had gone wasted. And to me, that kind of was my revelation, that my mission was to rethink how we think of philanthropy in our community and to revitalize the efforts of causes that we feel are important and involve as many people as we can. So I'm currently working on a foundation with a few friends to try to reinvigorate how we look at things and to create a multi-dimensional way to involve a community and solve a cause like food waste or like waste from small businesses, and get people all working together to a cause, to get the whole village rooting for something. I found all of a sudden that this was my purpose, and that this was the something better I had been searching for. And in that, I redefined success. Success for me was no longer money or nice cars, or necessarily the abundance of a discretionary income. It was the ability to combine something I loved to do with a way to pay for the bills as well. But most of all, making sure that I was staying true to who I was and seeking a better purpose, my best version of myself, and the reason I was here. So in short, my call to millennials is to utilize the people around you and to utilize your community and all the resources we have, and to not settle for four walls and a desk job, to find your best purpose, to no longer be distracted by student loans or bills or impending doom, but to really go out there and to find why you're here and also find a way to fund yourself at the same time and embrace this new way of success. And I think truly then we can make the world a better place.